the whole sky at once. Everyone remembers what appeared above the stadium. Almost no one remembers what appeared on the field. The first was an orange sphere, bright as a small sun and cold on every thermal camera aimed at it. The second was a football. We already had one of those. My name is Luz Venn. I was 16 years old when the sky learned how to imitate us. This is what happened before the world agreed on a cleaner story. Sunday, July 19, 2026, New York. New Jersey Stadium, Spain against Argentina, the World Cup final. 82,000 people inside the bowl, billions beyond it. One ball, two teams. 11 players on each side, each seeing the same field from a position no one else could occupy. My father used to say, football was civilization explained without subtitles. A rule makes strangers predictable, Luz Venn told me. A pass makes them responsible for where someone else will be. He had been dead for 11 months. I wore his blue scarf anyway. My mother, Dr. Mara Venn, was beneath the stadium directing Atlas, a broadcast system that synchronized 104 cameras and rebuilt the match from every angle. Its slogan was, "See the whole game." My mother hated the slogan. "No system sees the whole anything," she had said. At 19 minutes, Spain carried the ball through midfield. Argentina closed the space. The crowd rose. The clock reached 19 minutes and 47 seconds. A circular shadow crossed the upper deck against the direction of the sun. Then, the orange light appeared above the north video board. It did not fly in. It was absent. Then it was present. A perfect circle filled with slow folds of orange and gold. Its edge was sharper than the pixels behind it. Stars were visible inside, though it was 3 o'clock on a summer afternoon. The goalkeeper pointed. The match stopped. 82,000 people became quiet enough to hear the flags. 3 red lights separated from the orange. Not dropped, not fired, separated. They accelerated into a horizontal line, rotated into a vertical line without crossing paths, and vanished. Then, every phone rose. Beneath us, Atlas failed in 104 different ways. One camera recorded a sphere. Another recorded a thin orange line. Another saw 2 crescents joined by darkness. One saw nothing but the circular shadow. All the clocks agreed. All the calibrations passed. "The cameras disagree," an engineer said. My mother studied the raw feeds. "Cameras don't disagree. Models do." The orange light opened again. 5 red lights emerged. 4 moved east. The 5th fell toward the pitch, stopped above the center circle, and contracted. When it went dark, a football lay on the grass. The referee stared at it. Then, at the match ball still tucked against his hip. 2 balls. Both carried the same serial number. A Spanish midfielder approached the new one. My mother reached him through the 4th official's earpiece. "Do not touch it." The ball rolled toward him, uphill, then stopped at the white chalk of the center circle. It did not cross. The giant screens went black. When they returned, they showed the east stand 47 seconds in the future. On screen, a child fell through a failing rail. In reality, he was 6 rows above me, still holding his father's hand. I climbed over the seats and reached him as panic moved through the section. The rail broke exactly when the screen had shown it would. This time, I caught him. The image changed. It was not showing the future. It was showing a future that could still be refused. The stadium gates locked, airspace closed, fighters launched, and one red light entered the player's tunnel. I saw it become two tail lights, one round, one square, gliding without a vehicle between them. I followed. The lights moved down a concrete corridor at exactly my speed. No tires, no engine, no shadow. They passed through a locked equipment door. My phone rang. "Mom? Where are you?" "Tunnel B. Go back to people. Now." The call filled with static. Behind it, I heard someone chewing peppermint gum. The equipment door opened. My father stood there. Brown jacket, hair over his left eye, press recorder around his wrist. For 11 months, I had imagined running to him. Instead, I noticed his dry shoes on the wet floor. "Dad?" He smiled. "Hello, Lucy." My father had never called me Lucy. The shape stepped closer. Its jacket moved, but its shadow did not. Through its cheek, I could see an exit sign bending as though viewed through water. It looked hurt, because I expected hurt. It reached because I expected him to reach. I ran. When I looked back, a concrete wall and one impossible star were visible through its chest. My mother found me beneath the west stand. "It knows, Dad," I said. "No," she answered. "It knows what you expect Dad to be." A man on her phone said, "And it has done the same thing with cars." Dr. Daniel Shu had analyzed the 2023 Western United States event. 6 federal agents had reported orange lights producing smaller red lights, roughly 60% aligned with military aircraft and flares. The remainder lacked decisive technical evidence, but their released accounts contained a detail my mother had missed. Lights imitated cars and a box truck. They glided over rugged ground as if invisible roads existed beneath them. One apparent vehicle had a round tail light and a square one. A witness said a star and hillside remained visible through its body. Daniel said, "It copies familiar forms, but it doesn't understand which details make them real." Every phone in the stadium received an emergency alert. "Shelter in place." Then a second line appeared that no authority had written. "Show us the rule." The order from Washington reached Atlas minutes later. Build one image. Defense systems could not target something that was a sphere from one angle, a line from another, and absent from a third. Atlas was designed to fuse camera views into one 3-dimensional model. My mother refused. "We don't know those views belong to one object." "Doctor," the voice replied, "there are luminous objects inside a stadium. There are observations inside a stadium. That distinction will not matter if one reaches Manhattan. It will matter if your target is something the software invented." Daniel asked for 6 minutes. The line closed. Atlas searched the case archive my father had helped preserve, not for matching shapes, but for matching actions. Approach, signal, imitation, boundary, touch, withdrawal. The fragments appeared across decades, but never all in one report. In Papua New Guinea in 1959, William Gill recorded that people waved and flashed a torch toward distant lights and apparent figures, which seemed to respond. The official inquiry considered planets and atmospheric effects. Most group details survived through Gill's record. It was not proof of communication, but it documented a human attempt to establish one. On the pitch, the Argentine captain raised both arms toward the orange light. 2 red lights moved outward like arms, then inward. The captain lowered his hands. The lights stopped. The crowd cheered and thousands began waving. The 3 red lights divided into 9. 9 became 27. People collapsed, eyes open, attention caught between too many synchronized replies. My mother opened the public address system. "Stop waving. Look down. Look at the person beside you. Say your name." Names moved through the stadium in dozens of languages. The pressure eased. The lights recombined into 3. "It multiplies attention," my mother whispered. "Then attention is the contact surface," Daniel said. An armed security officer entered the pitch and aimed at the duplicate ball. It rolled toward him and stopped at the chalk. He fired. Every camera recorded a different result. In one, the bullet struck the ball. In another, it passed through. In a third, it emerged from the sky above the stadium, traveling upward. The officer fell, unable to move his legs for 23 seconds. A grid of red marks crossed his chest and faded within the hour. 2 old records became warnings instead of lectures. At Falcon Lake, Stefan Michalak had reported touching a hot object before suffering documented injury, though the cause and later samples remained disputed. Around Colares, Brazil, residents had reported lights associated with heat, numbness, paralysis, and some burns. The Brazilian Air Force investigated, but the records did not establish an extraterrestrial cause. The lesson was narrow and urgent. Do not make touch the first experiment. My mother approached the center circle but stayed outside the chalk. "You may remain inside this boundary. You may not touch a person without permission. If you understand, move to the center." The duplicate ball rolled onto the center spot. The crowd did not cheer. "It recognized," Daniel whispered. "Responsive agency." My mother said, "One response to one rule." Then Atlas Fusion activated under remote command. 104 views collapsed into 1. The orange form became a solid black mass above the stadium, 300 meters wide, cut by orange veins. The sky bent around it. The roof dropped. Glass shattered. Every compass nearby pointed toward the center spot. The duplicate ball sank into the grass as if its weight had multiplied. My mother looked up in horror. "We pinned it." The solved Bariloche airport case supplied the key. Separate lights, an unexpectedly close aircraft, a sky tracer reflected on cloud, and an electrical flash had once been fused into one extraordinary craft that never existed. Atlas was repeating the error in reverse. It was forcing incompatible sections of something larger into one targetable body. A countdown appeared. 5 minutes to active countermeasure. The fusion core could only be isolated manually. My mother and I ran beneath the west stand. The corridor repeated around us. The same door, leaking pipe, exit sign. Atlas had forced the object into one geometry, and the space around it could no longer contain the result. Then my father stepped from a doorway. This time his shoes were wet. This time he called me Luz. The imitation was learning. "You don't have to lose both of us." It knew the private memory of a train platform where my parents first admitted they were in love. My mother took one step toward it. I played the 9-second voice note from Dad that I had carried for almost a year. "Luz, I found something strange in the West Service map. The signs repeat, so don't trust the arrows. Follow the crowd noise." That was all. No prophecy, no cosmic message. A practical warning from a man who had become lost at work. I faced the imitation. My father left unfinished sentences. "You keep finishing them because you don't understand him." Its face flickered into dozens of incomplete profiles. And he would never ask us to choose him over the living. My mother took my hand. We followed the sound of the crowd. The corridor unfolded. Inside the fusion room, 104 optical lines entered a ring of processors. No master switch. Each camera had to leave synchronization independently. Lucia Fernandez, the broadcast director, opened every operator channel. Disconnect external timecode. Record locally. Do not match another view. The first operator hesitated. That violates protocol. Yes. A woman on camera 31 unplugged first, then 12, then 70. Operators pulled batteries, covered lenses, broke network ports, and in one case attacked a very expensive transmitter with a folding chair. The black mass began to fragment, but not fast enough. 1 minute remained. Command restored feeds as quickly as crews cut them. Atlas could own the cameras. It could not own the witnesses. I seized the stadium microphone. Take out your phones. Do not point at the sky. Point at someone wearing the other team's colors. Ask what they see. Record their answer. Do not correct them. An Argentina supporter filmed a woman in red. A Spanish child filmed an old man in blue and white. Players recorded opponents. Security officers recorded medics. Camera operators recorded the crowd recording one another. Thousands became tens of thousands. Each device kept its own imperfect clock. No system could merge them. The black surface opened into windows, a lavender field, a Canadian forest reflected in hot metal, children drawing different objects beyond a school fence, a silent diamond above open ground at Pantex, a desert valley where a false car crossed a road that did not exist. Some images came from documented claims, some from memory, some from ordinary events reshaped into mystery. Some may never have happened. The phenomenon did not separate them. It showed us what we had given it. The archive was not proof of its history. It was the vocabulary it had found inside us. 10 seconds. Daniel needed a basis to abort the countermeasure. My mother spoke quickly. It respected the boundary. It has made no hostile advance. Every dangerous effect followed our synchronization, pursuit, weapon, or touch. Correlation, Daniel said. Yes. Not proof. Correct. 5 seconds. Daniel chose not to perform an irreversible experiment on incomplete data. The countdown stopped at 2. The aircraft turned away. Atlas lost its final camera. The black mass came apart without debris. Sphere, ring, crescents, line, stars, blue afternoon, all occupied the same place without becoming one another. The duplicate football rose from the grass, became transparent, and divided into 3 red lights. Every unsynchronized recording acquired 1 additional frame. Alone, each frame meant nothing. A color, a curve, part of an eye, coastline, hand, cloud, neuron. Displayed as a living mosaic without merging their sources, the frames formed a relationship among viewpoints. And something looked through it. I experienced my mother's attention, not her thoughts, the direction of her care. I felt how every room since Dad died had contained an invisible map of the distance between us. She experienced me, the anger of being treated as the most fragile thing in every room, and the reason I had carried 9 unfinished seconds everywhere. We did not merge. She remained Mara. I remained Luz. For 4 seconds, each of us carried the position from which the other loved. The first meaning arrived as a relation, not a sentence. The closest translation was, "We do not enter by making you one." Then, we enter where difference can remain without becoming division. The mosaic showed possible human civilizations branching beyond Earth. Some ended in silence. Some became systems where one intelligence consumed every voice and called the result peace. In a few, persons learned to share attention without surrendering identity. Those futures reached backward, not to guarantee themselves, but to ask permission to remain possible. Some minds in that field began beneath other suns. Some began on Earth. They were not exactly our descendants. They were descendants of possibility. The final meaning felt like my father's hand releasing a bicycle seat. Attention is how a future touches its past. The Argentine captain asked the sky, "Why here?" The match ball rolled onto the grass. The mosaic showed children playing in streets, defenders creating space, supporters praying for opposite outcomes. 22 minds holding one set of rules while desiring incompatible futures. The answer arrived with something like humor. You practice with a sphere. The crowd laughed. The orange form narrowed into a line, then crescents, then a point. The point became blue sky. The final resumed 47 minutes later with a new ball from a sealed case. I will not tell you who won. That is recorded elsewhere. I will tell you that the first pass went backward, the second went forward, and 82,000 people watched the space between them. Contact did not turn every old case into proof. Bariloche remained explained. Falcon Lake remained an injured man's disputed account. Ariel School remained differing child testimonies shaped by perception and interview conditions. The Western event remained partly correlated with aircraft and flares, partly unresolved without decisive technical data. The stadium did not make careless belief correct. It made careless certainty harder to defend. It also did not prove that bodies were disposable containers. My mother spent the rest of her career fighting that lie. More than a body does not mean less than a body, she said. Pain happens in bodies. Consent happens in bodies. A promise becomes real when a body keeps it. We stopped saying meat suit. We began saying local life. Not because the body was all we were, because it was where the larger thing became accountable. I am 36 now. I work in contact cartography. Every protocol begins with the center circle rule. State a boundary, request a response, preserve independent records. Never force incompatible views into agreement merely because a weapon requires a target. And never confuse a perfect imitation with the unfinished person you loved. Contact did not save us. Wars continued. So did lies, loneliness, and fear. But we learned that high vibration was not a magic frequency or escape from matter. It was the capacity to move among perspectives without losing your center. We learned that higher dimensional did not mean morally superior. It meant more directions in which responsibility could travel. One field, many positions, no view complete. People say the whole world looked up that afternoon. That is the cleaner story. The truth is that looking up nearly destroyed us. We survived when we looked sideways, when we asked another person what they saw, when we kept the answer even when it did not match our own. That was the whole sky, not the object above us, the relation between us. The future looked back. We did not look away. The end.